Good afternoon and welcome to the lunchtime news here on TV1. For the News First team, the voice of the people, I'm Sumanathilaka. We have a packed bulletin lined up for you this afternoon, but first, let's take a look at your headlines.
Sri Lanka in the red zone in terms of COVID-19 risk. Terrorist attack reported from New Zealand. The attacker identified as an extremist Sri Lankan shot and killed. Extraordinary gazette issued stipulating maximum retail prices for sugar and rice. Prices of wheat flour hiked by 12 rupees. Was treasure looted from civil power? Team of experts from the Department of Archaeology launches probe.
Taking a look at a breaking news that we just received, the existing quarantine curfew has been extended to 4 a.m. on the 13th of September. The decision was made during a meeting with the Presidential Task Force on Combating COVID-19 chaired by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
விசேட செய்தி ஒன்றுடன் இணைந்திருக்கின்றோம். நாடளாவிய ரீதியில் தற்போது அமுலில் உள்ள தனிமைப்படுத்தல் ஊரடங்கு சட்டத்தை செப்டம்பர் மாதம் 13ஆம் தேதி திங்கட்கிழமை அதிகாலை 4 மணி வரை நீடிப்பதற்கு தீர்மானிக்கப்பட்டுள்ளதாக ஜனாதிபதியின் பேச்சாளர் கிங்ஸ்லி ரத்நாயக்க தெரிவித்துள்ளார். மீண்டும் அந்த செய்தி. நாடளாவிய ரீதியில் தற்போது அமுலில் உள்ள தனிமைப்படுத்தல் ஊரடங்கு சட்டத்தை எதிர்வரும் 13ஆம் தேதி திங்கட்கிழமை அதிகாலை 4 மணி வரை நீடிப்பதற்கு தீர்மானிக்கப்பட்டுள்ளதாக ஜனாதிபதியின் பேச்சாளர் கிங்ஸ்லி ரத்நாயக்க தெரிவித்துள்ளார்.
Taking a look at a story that has made headlines this afternoon, a stabbing rampage in an Auckland shopping mall has been described as a terrorist attack by New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, who identified the attacker as a violent extremist, a Sri Lankan national who had been a person of national security interest since 2016.
Prime Minister Ardern told a media briefing that the attacker was a Sri Lankan national who had been in New Zealand for a person of interest for about 5 years. The man was killed within 60 seconds of beginning the attack, adding that he has been inspired by the Islamic State military group. 6 people were injured, 3 in critical condition after the man stormed a supermarket in Auckland, New Zealand, armed with a knife today. Witnesses said the man stabbed several people at the supermarket before being shot by the police.
Taking a look at another story that has made headlines this afternoon, Dr. Manilka Sumanathilaka, Vice President of the Sri Lanka Medical Association, says that Sri Lanka is currently in the COVID-19 red zone in terms of number of patients reported from the country and the spread of the disease.
Taking into account on the current spread of the disease and the number of patients reported in the country, Sri Lanka is labelled as a country that belongs to the COVID-19 red zone. If we are to move to the green zone country, the daily patients reported in the country should be below 950. Also, the identification percentage of patients compared to the number of tests done in the country should be below 2.5%. We expect to reach these numbers with the help of the current travel restrictions imposed in the country.
It has been decided to reopen all dedicated economic centres in the island on Sunday and Monday. According to the State Minister of Agriculture, if there are excess stocks of agricultural produce at economic centres, they would be offered to the masses through mobile vendors. He noted officials engaged in essential services have been permitted to purchase goods from economic centres. Goods can be purchased by contacting managers of dedicated economic centres. 4 million doses of the Chinese Sinopharm vaccine are expected to arrive in the country tomorrow. The latest consignment will be the largest stock of vaccines to arrive in the island on a single day. This was confirmed by the Chinese embassy in Sri Lanka via a tweet. With the receipt of the 4 million doses, the total number of Sinopharm vaccines imported to the island would exceed 22 million.
The Sri Lanka police has been constant guardians of the general public. Rain or shine, thousands of dedicated men and women in our police force fulfill their duties to safeguard our nation at all times. Today marks the 155-year anniversary since the Sri Lanka police was established.
In 1795, a force similar to the police was introduced by British rulers to protect containers placed at the Colombo port. However, it was in 1866 that police service began officially in the country. G.W.R. Campbell, who was in charge of the Ratnagiri Rangers of the Bombay Police, was selected by the Governor of Bombay, and he assured duties as the Chief Superintendent of Police on the 3rd of September 1866. In 1947, Sir Richard Alavihara was appointed the first Ceylonese Inspector General of Police. The Sri Lanka Police rendered an immense service in safeguarding the nation in collaboration with other security forces during the 30-year war, which ravaged Sri Lanka, acting as first responders during times of strife, including natural disasters such as the tsunami in 2004.
During a pandemic, when a quarantine curfew is in effect, we have decided not to hold any celebrations for the anniversary. The IGP has given instructions to hoist only the police flag at police stations and the headquarters with the participation of few police officers. I must mention that this morning, on the 155th anniversary of the police, we are facing a huge challenge. We know that we have been able to manage this crisis well thus far. Many challenges have taken place in society since independence. Accordingly, the Sri Lankan police have been able to cope with those changes. We are focusing on how the police can change over the next 15 to 20 years. The plans for those changes are being implemented as of now.
Even during quarantine curfew, Sri Lanka Police has continued to render its duties, at times going beyond the call of duty.
In more local news, the ancient Dagaba in Kudasithulpawa, which was defaced by treasure hunters recently, has been reopened by the Department of Archaeology for investigations.
This morning, a special team from the Archaeological Department inspected the part of the Kudasithulpawa Dagaba which was defaced by treasure hunters. The Mihintale police is also involved in the investigation, and our correspondent said steps are underway to close off the hole which had been dug by the treasure hunters. Meanwhile, 7 suspects involved in the incident have been arrested. Police say they also seized a car and a safari jeep in connection to the incident. The suspects, aged between 20 and 43, are residents of Thisamaharama. It is surmised that these suspects had dug up the historical Kudasithulpawa Dagaba and looted its treasures. The Archaeological Department has also appointed a committee to investigate the incident.
Anura Pereira, a former group director of the Capital Maharaja Group, has passed away. He was 76 years old at the time of his demise. Anura Pereira rendered a great service to the Sri Lankan agricultural sector after forging relationships with foreign institutions during his tenure. In more local news, Prima has decided to hike the price of 1 kilo of wheat flour by 12 rupees. The latest hike in wheat flour comes against a backdrop where the Consumer Affairs Authority has issued a gazette imposing maximum retail prices on sugar and rice.
According to the Gazette, the maximum retail price of 1 kilogram of unpacketed white sugar is 122 rupees. Further, the MRP of 1 kilogram of unpacketed brown or red sugar has been set for 125 rupees. The Gazette has also set an MRP of 125 rupees for 1 kilogram of packeted white sugar, with an MRP of 128 rupees being imposed on 1 kilogram of packeted red or brown sugar. Based on the extraordinary Gazette issued on the MRP of rice, 1 kilogram of Kiri Samba must be sold at 125 rupees. The MRP on 1 kilogram of red or white Samba rice has been set at 103 rupees, while the MRP of 1 kilogram of white or red Nadu rice has been set at 98 rupees. The extraordinary Gazette further announced an MRP of 95 rupees has been set for 1 kilogram of white or red raw rice. Meanwhile, with a maximum ceiling price being imposed by the government for sugar and rice, Newsfirst inquired into whether sugar and rice is available in the market for the stipulated prices. Consumers had gathered at many South outlets across the island today to purchase goods.
Yesterday they said the price of sugar will be 122 rupees. But when we came here, the price was 130 rupees. Who are we to believe? Officials at Sathosa or the government? When I arrived here yesterday, I was only given 1 kilo. I bought 1 kilo of sugar for 130 rupees from the Peradini Sathosa. We had to wait in line today as well. The consumers have to wait in queue for hours to purchase a kilo of rice. Here the price is 130 rupees. What is this price control? We are saddened by the fact that we have to spend more than 200 rupees to get here and purchase a kilo of sugar. We are disappointed at the fact that we have to wait in queue like this to purchase sugar. This government has no proper plan. It is unsuccessful.
Meanwhile, this was the situation at shops in Peta today.
They have imposed a control price. We sell it for that control price. A kilo of Sudu Kakulu is 93 rupees. Samba is sold for 105 rupees. A kilo of Kiri Samba is 125 rupees. And Nadu is 98 rupees. The price of sugar has reduced to 125, 120 and 118 rupees. But the price of rice has not changed. The consumers are demanding a lower price. Rice is sold at the control price. There is no issue in that. We will be able to sell rice at that price. Samba is sold for 103 rupees, Nadu for 98 rupees, Sudu Kakulu 95 rupees and Kiri Samba is sold for 125 rupees. We feel we can sell it for that price. In some news from the cricketing arena, Sri Lanka was able to win the first ODI of the 3-match series played against South Africa in Colombo yesterday. And that brings us to an end of this edition of Lunchtime News here on TV1. For the News First team, the voice of the people, I've been Sanita Senanayake. Take care and stay safe.